went to bleeding races, 'twas on the 9th of June, 1862 on a summer's afternoon. I took the bus to Bamberley's and she was heavy laden. Away we went along Collingwood Street, that's on the road to bleeding.
You're watching TOON TV. This is the big match preview between Manchester City and my club, Newcastle United. It's a midweek kickoff down at the Etihad Stadium. It's a 6 o'clock kickoff in one of the biggest away games of the season for the TOON Army. Just as well, we're safe in the Premier League, isn't it? Just before I jump into the preview, please, could you subscribe to the channel? If everybody could hit the sub button, it really would help the channel to grow and go a long way in 2020. And please, could you hit the thumbs up on the video if you enjoy it and you found the content helpful? The more people that hit the thumbs up, it really does help me out, and it just tells me that you enjoy the content. It takes literally 2 seconds to do, and if you do that, thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. Now, going into the preview, I like to break it down. In the first part, I like to talk about my club, Newcastle United, first, and then I'll talk about the opposition. In the second part, in this case, it's Manchester City, and I'll talk all things the citizens. So if you are watching from a Manchester City fan's point of view, please stick around, stay tuned to the channel, and yeah, we'll delve into your side very, very soon. So going into the game, from a Newcastle fan's point of view, we're currently sitting 12th in the Premier League on 43 points. Joint points with Southampton, only on goal difference. We have a better goal difference than the Saints. And we're in a really healthy position. We're now mathematically safe in the Premier League. After Liverpool beat Aston Villa, who occupy the last relegation spot, they can no longer catch us. They can only get up to 42 points. And I have to say a big well done to Steve Bruce and a big well done to the lads, because if you'd asked me at the start of the season, with Steve Bruce in charge, the 5 at the back, and some of the results that we were getting against Leicester, 5-0 defeat, the 3-1 defeat away at Norwich, we had absolutely no chance of staying in the Premier League the way things were going. It's been a season of two halves. The first part of the season was absolutely dismal, Championship at best. But then the second part of the season, Steve Bruce changed the formation to a more attacking one in the 4-2-3-1 formation, and we look a lot better. We're a lot more expressive. ASM has become an absolute powerhouse. He's been linked with some big clubs already. ASM is that player who gets us going. He has the best quality in terms of a player at the football club, and he's our go-to man to make things happen. Almiron has been brilliant as well. He's had a better second season at the club, all thanks to the likes of St. Maximin and his ability on the ball, and he's been getting into some great areas, Almiron, and he's always smiling, and that's great. And when you change the formation and you're more positive, then you will get the results, and they have followed in the second part of the season. And if only we'd done that at the start of the season, I know it's all ifs and buts now, we could have been in a more healthier position. We could have actually been around 6th, 7th, 8th, because I feel like the Premier League's being poor. Take away Liverpool, they've been the best side all season. Now, we are 6 games unbeaten in the Premier League, and our latest result was a 2-2 draw at home to West Ham United. I think it was a positive result in terms of, if that had been at the start of the season, we could have actually lost that game. We went into that game quite tired, running on empty. We didn't see the best of the likes of St. Maximin, unfortunately, but I don't want to just put it down to St. Maximin for the reason why we didn't score enough goals and win the game. We had some poor defending as part of West Ham getting a couple of goals, the likes of Lascelles. But listen, I don't want to just pick out players for the sake of it, because they've been decent in the last few games, and we haven't lost. And against West Ham, who were battling relegation, listen, anybody will take a point, especially if you're safe in the Premier League and you've got nothing much else to play for. As long as you don't lose the game, you can go into any away game against Manchester City with confidence, because if we'd lost that game against West Ham, then the confidence is low again, isn't it? And they'll know that it is going to be a tough game anyway down at the Etihad, but with that draw, the confidence is still there that we can go and do something. I'm not saying we're going to go to the Etihad now play Manchester City, because they're by far a better side than us. They're like the Barcelona of this league, and we've got a poor record down at the Etihad, but if we can come away with a point, it would feel like a win. I don't want to have that defeatist attitude where, oh, we're going to get absolutely played off the park, we're going to be done within half an hour of the game being played. Listen, Newcastle United surprise everybody. Anybody can play well on the day, and like I say, football is a strange game. Football is a funny game, as they always say. And Man City, as I say, will be the toughest away game of the season because they've got quality. And not many clubs go to Manchester City at their patch and win, or even come away with a draw. So if we can do anything better than that, then it's an absolute bonus for us. There's no pressure on the lads to go to Man City and do something, but I'd like to think that the lads are not having the attitude of they're wearing their flip-flops, they've got their towels out ready for the season to finish, because we've still got top 10 to play for, and the lads have got us into a strong position. I'll talk about some key injuries which could affect us on Wednesday and how we'll go about the game going forward. Now, I think we just must not concede early on. We need to be careful how we go about the football. We need to make sure that we keep passing it. We need to make sure that we're switched on. We need to make sure that we're trying to attack where we can, and we must not play with a 5 at the back formation. I know a lot of fans will say, well, it's Manchester City, they're a good side. Well, for me, then you're just accepting defeat. For me, I'd rather play the 4-2-3-1 formation and go toe-to-toe with Man City. Yes, they could totally outplay us, but I'd rather get beat 4-5-6-0 having to go than playing 5 at the back and losing 2-0, where the game just becomes boring because a side like Manchester City are outplaying you. Yes, fair enough, they've had some big results, but that's not to say if we go toe-to-toe with Manchester City that they could get frustrated, and that could be our chance to potentially hit them on the counter-attack, and that's what that formation does. We've got to have an attitude where we've got to give ourselves that chance. Yes, it's going to be a difficult game, there's no question about it, and if we lose, then I won't be disappointed because it is Manchester City, but it's how we'll go about the game, because I still care. I still want the lads to put in 100% for the club, and for anybody who's going to get a start on Wednesday, try not to ruin it. Try and make it your own. Steve Bruce can afford to experiment in the game on Wednesday night, because with safety confirmed, Steve Bruce can maybe alter the formation. He could play players that need much needed game time, such as Mutu, for example, who we've never seen pretty much all season. And going into the formation, if there's any Manchester City fans watching, he tends to go with a 4-2-3-1 formation, and I don't think he's going to change that on Wednesday. I'll be very surprised if he does go with a 5 at the back, because for me, if he does, I will be very disappointed. I'm not going to lie. Now, our last 3 Premier League results has yielded 5 points from 9 available. So we have drawn 1-1 with Aston Villa at St James's Park. We then took on Manchester City in the FA Cup, who we're playing this week. We lost 2-0 at St James's Park. There's no disgrace in losing to Manchester City, but we pretty much lost the game anyway for our own making, for playing 5 at the back and individual mistakes. And yes, Manchester City went in to go to the semi-finals, and I wish them all the very best in the FA Cup, of course. Then we took on AFC Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium. We won 4-1, do beg your pardon. And we should have won by more than just the 4 goals. Probably one of the best away performances of the season. And then, last but not least, we did take on West Ham at St James's Park and draw 2-2. Which, again, you could say we should have won. But listen, West Ham fully deserved that point, if not more, because we didn't really turn up. Now, we are missing some key players for the game on Wednesday. You could say Manchester City fans will be relieved, but listen, they've got quality. So we are missing Alan St-Maximin because he was looking quite tired. Steve Bruce said in his post-match press conference after the West Ham draw that, yeah, he looked knackered. It looks as if he'd pulled up, and he could be missing for a while. We are also missing Isaac Hayden, as he pulled up in the first half against West Ham. He's going to be a miss because he likes to protect the back four, and also Sean Longstaff, as he pulled up an injury in the first half against AFC Bournemouth. So 3 key players that are missing for the game in midweek for injury news. This is my starting 11 that I'm going to go with for the game against Manchester City at the Etihad. I am actually going to stick with the 4-2-3-1 formation, as I believe it's the formation that's getting results, and we need to be more brave against the better sides. So in goal, Martin Dubravka. At left back, I'm going to go with Danny Rose. At right back, I'm going to go with Emil Kraft. The 2 centre-backs, first up, captain Jamal Lascelles. And alongside him, Federico Fernandez. On the left-hand side, I'm going to go with Matt Ritchie. And on the right-hand side, I'm going to go with Valentino Lazaro. The 2 centre-mids, first up, Jonjo Shelvey. And alongside him, Isaac Hayden. In the cam role, I'm going to go with Miggy Almiron. And up front, on his own, I'm going to go with Joe Linton. So that is my starting 11 for the game against Manchester City. What team would you go with? Would you make any changes? Would you go with the current 4-2-3-1 formation? Or would you go with a 4-3-3 formation? Would you go with 4-1-2-1-2? Now that we're safe, would you go 5 at the back? Let me know down below in the comments. But what I will say is in this game, we must not be daft on the ball. We must get at Manchester City, try and battle with them, go toe-to-toe with them, try and keep the score down, and let's not have any regrets. I know it's going to be tough with some of our key players being out, but there's no excuse not to try and give them a game for the wages that the lads are on. Now let's look at our opposition. It's Manchester City. Man City are currently second in the Premier League. They're on 66 points. They're now 23 points behind Liverpool. They're not going to win the Premier League. They've now surrendered the title to the Anfield outfit. And for Manchester City now, it's how many points they can pick up. They're going to get Champions League football for next season. That's if the appeal of the ban has gone through and they get away with it, but we'll have to wait and see. But they are in a Champions League spot as it stands and nothing's been said. And for Manchester City, they'll be disappointed for the fact that they've surrendered the title to Liverpool, but also they've lost it by a heavy margin. And with the money that's been invested at that football club, it's been a quite disaster for them, really. Yes, they've won the Carabao Cup, and they're still in with a chance of winning the FA Cup, and they can still lift the Champions League when that restarts in August. But their focus has to be to try and keep the respect on the name and keep winning games. And they've been very hit and miss since the Premier League restart. They've won games where you think it might be difficult, but the teams where they should be winning, they've been losing. And that is an example of the last game against Southampton at St Mary's. They lost 1-0. Who would have thought that Man City would have lost 1-0 at Southampton, because Southampton have been hitty-missy as well. And Southampton, no disrespect to them, they don't have the quality of players that Man City have. But it just goes to prove that if you go toe-to-toe with them, like Southampton did, then you can catch them on a really bad day. And albeit Man City were down St Mary's and not at the Etihad, it could have happened at the Etihad, who knows. But with Man City now no longer challenging for the title, we don't know where their players' attitudes are at, we don't know where their hearts are at. And with the investigation of the Champions League, well, it is going to be a difficult one to know in terms of the game on Wednesday. But I just do know we're going to be in for a tough game. And Pep Guardiola, he does expect a lot from his side. You know, he's a very well-drilled manager. He's, for me, one of the best managers in the world. And some of the football that Man City play, it's tick-a-taka, it's fast-attacking football, creating shots, loads of shots on target and making the opposition work for it. And they get you tired. And some of the tricks and flicks that they can do, it's an absolute delight to see Manchester City play. It must be an absolute honour to be a Man City fan, to watch that type of football, because I'd love to see that at the TOON. And I am scared to see that on a Wednesday, not going to lie. And if we play 5 at the back, then yeah, you could be in for a big, heavy win. And Manchester City, looking at their last 3 Premier League results, they did lose 2-1 away to Chelsea, which did give Liverpool the title. Chelsea are a good side, so there's probably no disgrace in that. They did then go to Liverpool, and they did beat Liverpool at the Etihad 4-0. So Liverpool winning the title, Man City give them the guard of honour, but absolutely batter them off the park. Who would have thought Liverpool would have won the league by 23 points if Man City are, winning by that margin? But then again, the Premier League is fine margins. And then they did lose 1-0 to Southampton, which they should be winning that type of game. No disrespect to Southampton, but listen, Man City, you've only got themselves to blame for it. And any win against Man City is decent. They did play us in the FA Cup, and they did beat with 2-0. And the game was pretty much lost from minute 1. The way we're set up and the formation was just completely all wrong, an absolute disaster. But this is a different game in the Premier League, and we're now on their patch, and we haven't got a good record down at the Etihad, so they'll be smelling blood as well, not only for the fact they lost against Southampton, but they know that they've got a good record. Man City play with the 4-3-3 formation, so it's very attacking, as I mentioned in the preview. Against Man City in the FA Cup, they like to go for it. They like to rely a lot on their wingers, and they've got goal scorers in their team as well, and they're very frightening on the ball. They don't give the ball away. They tend to have, on average, around 70-80% possession, so we're not going to have a lot of the ball on Wednesday evening. It's how we go about it to try and stop them from playing their own game, and it's very difficult to try and get the ball off Manchester City at the best of times, but we're going to have to try. And they are the best side for getting the ball up and putting the ball in the back of the net. They do score a lot of goals, and they are prone to the odd mistake. So we do have that chance of potentially putting one in the back of the net, but it is scary reading on the Manchester City side of things, and that is all down to Pep Guardiola. Now, I have said that Man City will attack us from the off. There's no question about that. They're a good side, and if we set up all wrong, then they will hit on the counter-attack very quickly, and you must try and match them, but if you can't do that, then unfortunately it's going to be an easy evening for them. And the Man City, with their quality, they have what it takes to literally take you to the sword very, very quickly. Players to watch out for, I've gone first up, Raheem Sterling. He caused us an absolute nightmare in the FA Cup. He did score in the second half. It was a great finish, and it was poor marking by us, but listen, he's a good player. He scored their record number of goals this season. He was a bit poor in the previous game, but then he was good against us in the 2-2 game at St James's Park earlier in the season. I've also gone with Kevin De Bruyne, another brilliant player, one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. His tricks, flicks, the way he gets forward, the way he makes things happen. He's very good at linking up with others around him. He's very good from set pieces, especially free kicks, so we must not give him any sort of free kick opportunities, and he did score that penalty which put Man City 1-0 in the FA Cup at St James's Park, that quarter-final. I have also gone with Jesus, another very good finisher, a young lad, Brazilian, scoring a lot of goals for Man City this season, and someone who knows where the back of the net is. He's got pace, and he's got plenty more to offer to that Man City side. We must not switch off, otherwise, listen, he'll be in. He did miss a lot of sitters against Southampton, but he knows where the back of the net is. Next up, I've gone with Phil Foden, a young lad who has got a bright future at Manchester City. Yes, albeit you'll say he's got some great players around him, that's why he's great, but listen, he could walk into our team right now. He could walk into any side and possibly get you 15 goals a season. He's really got that ability, and Pep's really working with him to make him into a great player. Next up, I've gone with David Silva. I mean, what more can I say about this guy? Absolutely fantastic. It's his last season at the Etihad, and what a brilliant servant he's been, and what he offers to the game from midfield, his ability to show skill, to work hard from set pieces, to do something out of the ordinary that we've never seen before, and the amount of goals that he's scored for Man City as well. So he's going to be an absolute threat on Wednesday night. There's no question about that. And I've also gone with Bernardo Silva, who he likes to play on the wing, but he can play in midfield, and he can make things happen. He's got pace, and he's got a good brain about him as well, and he'll cause us problems time and time again on Wednesday. There's no question about that. So there's some of the players that I've gone for Manchester City. I'm sure there's plenty more. I could say Mahrez, who was an absolute nuisance against us in the FA Cup, and he's a bright player for Man City, brilliant for Leicester back in the day, and that's why they signed him, for his quality and what he brings to the game. He can finish, and for us it is going to be a long evening, but it's how we'll go about it. If we'll go about it the right way, we'll give ourselves a chance on the midweek game. And I think for a score prediction, I'm going to go for a 1-1. I am trying to be positive. I'm trying to be realistic that it's going to be a tough game. You could say Man City are probably going to battle win. If it happens, well, listen, it happens. It's Man City. Not many clubs are going to win down there, but I have to go for the lads. I have to back my side, unfortunately, and if we can play our game, if we can get in their faces, cause them problems, then who knows, anything is possible. Let me know your score predictions down below in the comments. Please, if you're new around here, subscribe, hit the like button, follow me on social media, TOON Army TV on Instagram and Twitter, and what I will say is keep it tuned, HOWAY the lads.